The best CRM system for manufacturing and industrial companies is HubSpot. In this video, I'm going to show you why and how to use it properly. What's up, guys? I'm Kyle Milan. It's Tuesday at noon, so that means we're here to talk about industrial marketing. Check out the swag. Got a Yeti tumbler. We might have to do a giveaway one of these times. We've been swagging these things out for the last 2 years, giving them to customers, people we see at shows, things like that. A nice 20-inch Yeti tumbler with our brand on it. I mean, you can't beat that. That's pretty dope. Also got some swag up on the computer. We're just stepping it up. You guys should see our hats that we have. Everybody always loves our hats whenever we go someplace. So, all right, so today we're talking about using HubSpot for industrial marketing. So I want to know in the comment section for anybody watching this live, even on the replay, how many of you guys are HubSpot users? Put I use HubSpot in the comment section below, because we're going to dive deep into this. Or if you're not using HubSpot, but you want to learn more about it, say, I want to learn more about HubSpot. So MFG Tribe, the marketing agency that I've owned for the last 8 years, that is dominating the space in industrial marketing, top of every single list. We are a HubSpot partner, not just any partner. We're right now a platinum level, which is the second highest. Everybody gets in at regular partner, gold, then they go to platinum, diamond, elite from there. We are a platinum partner right now. According to HubSpot, we are the highest partner level in HubSpot that is an industrial or manufacturing marketing agency. So I'm going to commend our team for that. We do a lot of stuff with HubSpot. Therefore, we know a lot of things. And me personally, I'd say I'm on like a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being like knowing the most about HubSpot. I'm probably an 8 because I'm in it every day. We use it for our agency to run our shop. And I'm also always involved in client stuff, helping out with our automation team, strategy, implementation, etc. So HubSpot as a CRM system, going back a couple steps. Originally, I used Infusionsoft, which is now called Keep. After that, I was on SharpSpring, which is a pretty good system. After that, I was on ActiveCampaign. And after that, the fourth time around, I joined HubSpot. Now, why did it take me so long to get there? Well, back in 2015, 16, 17, 18, just wasn't a huge fan of HubSpot. They didn't have all of the features that the other systems had, and I couldn't do everything all under one roof. So I was not drinking the Kool-Aid of HubSpot. But about 3.5 years ago, they updated some features, updated the user experience, updated some tracking metrics. I was like, you know what? Let's give it a shot. Loved it. We've been going HubSpot hard ever since. Now, that doesn't mean we don't have experience in other areas. We've got clients on Microsoft Dynamics, Insights, 365, Salesforce, Zoho, Sugar, Apollo IO, all of the major platforms that people in industrial use every single day as their CRM system, we are in. And none of them, even Klaviyo for e-com. So any of you doing e-com, big e-com, stuff like that, Klaviyo is better than HubSpot right now when it comes to managing the CRM with an e-com site, in my opinion, for industrial. HubSpot's just made some changes. They're rolling out some new things with e-com that could possibly compete with them. But for that, we're a Klaviyo partner, and we recommend any of our clients that are big e-com to go with Klaviyo as of right now. Point being, there's not a system out there. That's the top systems. Everybody's always creating new CRM systems. It's like, oh, did you hear about this one? They happen every single year. Somebody's like, oh, this is the new cool thing. It's like back when Sugar CRM came out, even back when Salesforce came out in like 07, 08, 09. It was like, oh my God, check out this new system. So we've worked with everything. I know the top ones and have experience myself with it, as does our team. Most industrial companies, they use Dynamics because they're a Microsoft house. They use Teams for their meetings. They use Dynamics because it makes sense for their business, but there's so many issues with the functionality behind it and the powerhouse that you can do with Dynamics. So the first thing we're going to talk about, first thing is going to be how to use it. Well, because most people are not using it correctly. That's why. And we have dozens of conversations every month with potential customers. We're very selective on who we do business with because we are a niche agency. And I have a lot of conversations, and we get into the conversation of CRM systems and ask them, how are you currently using it? A lot of them in the smaller companies, let's say less than 50 million in revenue, they're using it as like a source for storing contact information, and they have it synced with a couple things, but they're not really using it to the fullest potential. So if we just look super high level, how are we going to use HubSpot, or really any CRM, but let's go into HubSpot first. So I'm going to draw a little graph. So it's going to be a pipeline. I've done this before. So at first, you're going to put contacts in the top, right? Bring contacts in. Now, how are you going to bring those contacts? You're going to bring those contacts by creating lead lists using Seamless AI, Zoom Info, or just having our agency do it for you. Create the lead list, trade show leads, lists from trade shows. You're going to buy the attendees, the contact records. You're going to export maybe LinkedIn connections and then get, maybe you're using Hunter.io, you're using Lucia, things like that. You're going to get contacts or your current customers or people that you previously tried selling to and they did not convert. So these are the unsold. Don't never forget about, let me put a little asterisk here, the unsold. Those are people that you tried to close and you couldn't for whatever reason. Wrong timing, wrong product or service, wrong person you're talking to, they lost their budget, whatever. These unsold people, they get forgotten about, dropped off from sales. Even the marketing teams, they don't pick them up internally. Therefore, you lose potential future opportunities. I'll follow up with somebody for multiple years, either myself personally, the sales team personally, or they'll do it. We'll just put them into a nurture drip campaign, continue to touch them over 6 months, 12 months, 24 months, continue to touch them because you never know. Whatever, if they went with somebody else besides you, you can always get them back. So you're putting contacts in. Then from there, you're going to want to engage with them. This is where you're going to be creating content. Create content and send it. Then from engage, then you're going to measure the results and then push the higher lead quality people down deeper into the pipeline into an op or opportunity. So you bring the contacts in, you're going to want to engage with them. You're going to want to send them some relevant information. From there, you're going to measure who has engaged the most. You're going to want to put them into another type of campaign or sequence, or maybe at that point you're like, sales team, you need to pick up the phone and call these guys. Then from there, the goal is to bring them into an op or opportunity, a deal, whatever you want to call it, an RFQ. So this is either an RFQ or a deal, depends on how you guys call it, or an opportunity. Then from there, then they become customer, right? If they don't become a customer, so these people that leave the pipeline and they say no for whatever reason, it could, maybe they ghosted you, maybe they're unqualified, maybe whatever the reason is, they said no. This is when you want to take these people and put them into a different funnel, and then this funnel is going to be nurture. So this is how a CRM system should work. Contacts coming in, engage with them, measure the engagement, converting them into an op, becoming a customer. They say no, you put them into a nurture campaign. Does it make sense to you guys that that's how you would want to use it? You want to, like, most of the time industrial companies are like, we bring the contacts in, we don't really nurture them or engage them. Sometimes the salespeople call them. That's how it's supposed to be used. But too often, the companies are not using it like that. They're just like, here's a list of my contacts, salesperson, maybe you call this person, maybe sometimes you send one-off emails. Why do it like that? Why not use the power of the CRM? And we'll get into how to use it in bullet points 2 through 5. But first, wrap your head around it. That's the goal. That's what you want to get to, is a pipeline system that's using marketing automation, triggers, workflows. It's automated to a certain point, and then the salesperson's pulled in, or it's automated to a certain point. Then it becomes a marketing qualified lead. Then the sales team kicks over. Now I know what you're thinking, Kyle. Do I have to use HubSpot for everything? You do not. You can be using Salesforce. You can be using another third party for your sales team. I'm not here to tell you that you have to use HubSpot. I'm here to say, from a marketing standpoint, tip of spear, HubSpot for the price and what it can do cannot be beat by anybody. And don't go in the comment section and be like, oh, what about ABC marketing automation software that just came out a year ago? Dude, I'm talking about robustness. I'm talking about support. I'm talking about the quality of data that you get and the way that the system is built for the dollar amount that you're spending. You can't beat that. Go ahead and look up what is HubSpot's stock price. It's like top 10 highest dollar stock. It's like over $600 a share. Maybe because they didn't, as my team informed me, maybe they didn't half it like Salesforce maybe did, but it's expensive to own HubSpot stock because they are climbing up and providing massive results for people. That's why we're all bought in. If we can recommend a system, it's going to be HubSpot in most cases because they have tiered pricing, which I'll get into pricing too. So that's how it's supposed to be used. If you're not using it like that, then you have to go to my YouTube channel and type in automation or email marketing or account-based marketing, things like that. I walk through the entire thing. If you want to learn more, I think that it goes without saying that we're going to have to do a private webinar for people that want to learn more about HubSpot, to where I can share my screen in a sandbox or even our own data, share it with you guys to show you in the screen, clicking through, here's how it works with activity, etc. If you want to watch the webinar, put a comment in the comment section below and say, I want to see the webinar, or I want webinar, and we'll be sure to create that and then invite you guys to it. So that's step one. How are you going to use it? That's how you're supposed to use it. That is a true CRM system. Now, you can also tie it into, if you have an ERP system running your shop, you have e-com, something like that, tying it into it. For that, you're going to need HubSpot Ops level, which is just one of their service offerings. You're going to need HubSpot Ops to communicate with that third party and communicate so you can pull that information back and forth and sync it. But if you're just like, I'm using Salesforce, cool. Native integration, native syncing. I'm using Dynamics for everything else. My salespeople use Dynamics, cool. Native integration with HubSpot. That's a two-way sync. You can push information back and forth based on certain triggers, et cetera, et cetera. It's very easy. But if you want to tie into your ERP, that's going to require HubSpot Ops, which is not that expensive, and then we can set it up and integrate the two. Let's talk pricing. You can look this up, pricing and packages. Look this up on your own. Google search HubSpot pricing after you watch this. It's not secret information. I will tell you that as a HubSpot Platinum partner, we can do certain things with pricing, whether it's discounts, whether it's onboarding discounts, or having us integrate it, onboard you, etc. There's things that we can do as a partner agency that you can't get direct. Like, you get pricing direct from HubSpot. Sometimes there's ways that we can sweeten the deal. The pricing is simple. Type in HubSpot pricing, you'll go to the main landing page, and you can build it out yourself to a certain extent. Depending on where they're at, and I didn't look before doing this live, they have starter packages where you can get all of the suites. So the way it's broken down is you've got the Marketing Hub, which is going to do all of the marketing related things, being able to do email marketing as you get higher in that package. So you got the Marketing Hub Starter, Professional, and Enterprise. You do not need Enterprise unless you're an enterprise company. So you basically got the Starter and the Professional. The Starter, I think you can get the whole suite of HubSpot for like $30 a month. You're not going to be able to do a ton of automation with it. Workflows is what they call automation. So when somebody does this, takes this activity, then I want to automatically add them to a list, send them an email, put them in some sort of sequence. All of those things, that's done through Marketing Hub Professional. The starter level, you can't do that. But even on Professional, the sticker price is like $890 for Marketing Hub Professional. You can probably on your own get a 10% discount. With a partner, sometimes you can get 20% discount, depending on when it's at the month, end of quarter, end of year. They're just trying to close deals just like you guys are. But the way HubSpot does is they'll be like, hey, if I can entice you, I'll give you 26% discount on this. So $890, take at least, I would say, $100 off. Just by default, you can get a 10% discount. So that gives you, I think, 3 to 5 seats for Marketing Hub Pro. Now, Marketing Hub Pro, this is where you can do all of the workflows, automations, customizations, things like that. You may not need that. If you're working with an agency like ours, we will need that because that is the power. But worst case scenario, you're at, let's say, $800 for Marketing Hub Pro. The other hub that they have is the Sales Hub. So you have Sales Hub Starter, you have Sales Hub Professional, and you have Sales Hub Enterprise. They just changed their Sales Hub pricing to be, instead of you pay X amount of dollars and there's a minimum number of seats available, you pay per seat. That changed the game. So Sales Hub Starter allows you to do some sales activities. You can't do custom meetings. You can't do a lot of customization to it. When you get into Sales Hub Pro, now you start to unlock some new features within the Sales Hub. When you get into Enterprise, now you can do automation into sequences and do it where you have a list of 1,000 people, and let's say you have 5 salespeople and you have 1,000 new leads, and you want to spread those out 200 contacts per salesperson, and you want them to send out sequences, which are one-to-one automated emails in a thread. If you want to do that, you need Sales Hub Enterprise. $150 per seat for Sales Hub Enterprise. $100 a seat for Sales Hub Pro. Sales Hub Pro, you can do sequences, which is automated emails, which we're going to get into, but you can do that at only $100 a seat. Let's say you have one salesperson. You can do, if you don't want to do Marketing Hub Pro with automation and workflows, and you're a smaller company and you don't want to do all that, you don't have the money to spend with an agency, get Sales Hub Pro and you can do sequences, which again, sequences are emails from a salesperson's address that have a threaded response to it. So if I send you an email today and then I send you another email in 7 days, it's threaded. So it's indented response to the first email. There is no unsubscribe button at the bottom. There is no address at the bottom. It looks like you wrote it. This sequences is HubSpot's solution to email inboxes blocking marketing emails from coming, is sequences. And I talk a lot about it, and in point 4, we're going to go through it even more. But to do that, you need Sales Hub Pro. $100 a seat. You got 2 salespeople, that's $200 a month. I already told you you're going to get 10% discount. So you're talking $180 a month for 2 seats. So it's not that expensive. People are like, oh, I can't get into HubSpot. We had a newer client of ours. They were using, what was it? I think they were using Apollo, and they were paying like $600 a month. When I did the same pricing, but bringing in marketing automation, sequences, all this customization, dashboards, reporting, etc., they went from $600 to I think it was $1,000 a month. So $400 increase that unlocked all these features, massive for them. And we already started running the sequences, and I think the last week they got like 11 or 12 leads just in 1 week from a couple sequences. So it's not that expensive. Now, when you get into the service side of it, Service Hub, you get into the content side of it, that's where you're going to deal with putting on your website, landing pages, stuff like that. That's the Content Hub. You create a blog post that lives on HubSpot. Your blog lives on HubSpot. And then you have the Ops side. So Ops is really meant for keeping your data clean within HubSpot. But most importantly, more than that, I would say like Ops is not cheap. For Ops, it's like $500 or $1,000 or something like that a month to add Ops into a program, and they might have discounts. It's not really best to use it for the functionality of I'm going to keep dedupe my stuff at scale. You can dedupe your platform in HubSpot, but to do it from a more bulk edit standpoint and take some more action to it, you need Marketing Hub Ops, Ops Hub, HubSpot Ops Hub. Now, to circumvent that, there's something called InCycle, INCYCLE. I think it's called InCycle. With InCycle, that's like, I don't know, $25 a month, $40 a month, and that dedupes your stuff. So if you're going to use Ops to keep your data clean and not have duplicate potential contacts that have same name, same company, but a different email, don't use it for that. What Ops is meant for is connecting into third parties. Now you're talking about open API, connecting into your ERP system that is shipping out your orders, or that you're storing all your customer information. You get a customer, your team enters it into the ERP or whatever system you're using internally. Ops will connect that and copy that information over into HubSpot. So it is pulling in real-time data. You want to do that because if you have lots of customers coming in on a monthly basis, so I'm not talking companies that are like, yeah, we sold this machine, or we got this person on a service, or we're doing this machining project, or we've got this automation equipment, or automation integration project, or something like that. Those are less quantity per month. For companies that are turning 30 to 130 clients a day, where it's a lot of transactional stuff, maybe smaller dollar amount, you're adding new customers in, maybe you get 5 new customers, 15 new customers a day. You need HubSpot Ops to be able to connect that, to grab those new customers, pull them into HubSpot, and then you can market to them. You can upsell to them. You can put them on a list. You can send them a welcome email. You can send them any future marketing material. You can ask them to be on a newsletter. In order for that to happen seamlessly in the back end, you need Ops. But at a bare minimum, industrial companies, Marketing Hub Professional, like I said, $890 sticker price if you're paying monthly. I think it's $800 if you're paying annually. You will get 10% off guaranteed. If you come through us, we'll get you more off. And we'll do the integration, onboarding, et cetera, because they're going to hit you with an onboarding fee of maybe $2,000, $3,000 to help you get going. We can do that for you at a different cost. So you're going to need Marketing Hub Pro, ideally, and Sales Hub Enterprise, just a couple of seats, 2 seats, 3 seats for your core sales team to do the sequence automation. So realistically, you're looking at, I don't know, you can get started at $30 per month for the full suite, and you can go up to, I mean, to really a sales team of 2, you can get in for $800 with big discounts, or you can get into $1,250 when you're talking about more salespeople. It's not crazy expensive. Now, when you want to get into, when you're talking enterprise level, you can get north of $4,500 a month. You can get north of that. But that to me is, if you're doing that, then you've got a partner agency like ours where we're doing all that for you, and we're making sure that you're not overbuying on your stuff. If you guys are existing HubSpot users, here's something to keep in mind. When they change the sales platform to per seat instead of the core, you get 5 at Sales Hub Pro, you get 10 at Sales Hub Enterprise, so it's going to be $1,500 because you got 10 minimum seats. You're a legacy customer. At some point in the future, they will move that off, and you'll be able to go to the price per seat model. So you can say, hey, I didn't have 10 salespeople. I only had 7, but I had to buy 10 seats because Sales Hub Enterprise had to force me, there's only 10 seat minimum. So I'm paying an extra every single month for 3 seats. You won't have to do that in the future. Like I said, your legacy account, you'll be able to adjust that once they flip the switch and say, okay, all new people were getting Sales Hub Enterprise and Sales Hub Pro cost per seat. Now we're going to give it to all the existing people. They know it's going to be a reduction. People are going to go down and say, I don't need all of these seats. I only need 7, 6, 5, whatever, but I need the features of Sales Hub Enterprise. Their price will be reduced. So HubSpot's trying to minimize that, which I totally agree with. Number 3 reason and how to use it. Custom fields. Custom is the key here. You need to be using custom fields, and you need to have somebody that knows how to use those custom fields. What am I talking about here? I'm talking about, if we just look simplistically, you have a form on your site. The form should be a HubSpot form. And even if it's not, even if it's a Gravity's form because you're using a WordPress site or something like that, and you're using Gravity forms, cool. Direct integration with HubSpot, perfectly fine. Gravity Forms is the best form system out there that's not native to a CRM. You can do so much customization and conditional logic with it. It's an amazing form. So you've got a form. You need to ask questions on that form. The most important question that everybody should ask, no matter what your service or product is how did you hear about us? How did you find us? What made you, like, if you don't know that, you can't possibly say, oop, this is working well. This marketing vertical is working well. You can't possibly know that. And I don't trust salespeople to ask the question and document the response and then put it into any sort of database. I don't trust salespeople to do that because I know you guys aren't going to do it. So asking that question, so that's a custom field. So you have to look at it and say, all right, what information do I want to get from the person that's filling out the RFQ? And if you're old school, you're going to be like, Kyle, I don't want to ask them 20 questions to get started. If they're not going to answer the question of how did you find us as a required field, why would you want to do business with them? Anyways, like, they're not serious about it. They're just filling out questions, and they're probably not serious about the project. So asking them a simple question of how did you find out about us? How did you hear about us? And making that required, custom field. Then you start to think, what other information would be beneficial for my sales team to know before they get on a call? All those are custom fields. What type of product are you interested in? What vertical of our products? What service? We've got 7 services. Pick which one they're interested in most. Or maybe you do it as a custom checkbox drop down to where people can say, I'm interested in these 3 services. Let's say you do facility services and you do overhauls of ceilings and stuff like that. I always use that as an example because I feel like that is like so cool. When companies come in and say, your old ceiling, we're going to clean it up and paint the whole thing white and it's going to brighten up the place. It's crazy how it is. We don't have a customer that does that, but it's crazy how different it is. So let's say that you do that, but you offer 7 different services. Having a checkbox for multiple services so you know from the get-go, what is this person interested in? I'm only going to talk to them initially and ask questions around what they said that they're interested in. I don't want to pitch them something different yet. I want to, and you're going to follow my process for doing a discovery call or an RFQ call, and you're going to say, what brought you in? Tell me about what you guys are looking for. What type of issues are you having, etc. Asking questions, let them do the talking, then offer up the solution. But at least you can understand their mindset. If you have 5 different manufacturing things that you do, we do 3D printing, additive manufacturing, we do machining, metal forming, stamping, etc. We do all these things. Which one are you interested in? And let them select multiple with a checkbox, custom field. So you think, what information is good to have? Take it a step further. What do I want to report on? Do I want to report on the revenue per deal? Do I want to report on the source of the deal? Do I want to report on where this lead came from? Is it specific to a salesperson? Was it a trade show? I see this all the time. Going to CRM system, I'm like, which one of these are from this trade show? Oh, well, that's this list. No. So you guys didn't create a custom field that says trade show lead and a drop-down selection of every single trade show? Oh, no, we didn't do that. We just imported this list. Yeah, that's not going to work. I want to see a custom field, because what can you do with custom fields? You can filter from it, you can sort based on it, and you can report on it. I want to see how many leads came from IMTS 2022. I want to see how many deals were created from leads that came from that. It's so easy to do filtering if you just say, show me all deals from January 1st to December 31st. And they all have to have, the advanced filter is, they have to be from this specific trade show. It's like 2 filters. You can look at the data. That's the way to do it. So you got to think, like, what type of custom information do I want to track? The products that they purchase, the family that they purchased from. If you have 3 different families of products, you can have a custom field that says which product family did they purchase. One of those, you can have a secondary field that says which product category do they purchase from. So you got the category, the family, the subcategory. You can do all these as custom fields so you can easily sort it. So if you ask them to fill it out, or if you're capturing that information, all of them are custom fields. One of our clients, I had to create 126 custom fields to move them from one system to another. After we imported all the custom fields and created them all, come to find out that 90 of them, they're like, you know what, actually, we don't need to use those. So I was like, hey, at least I had a lot of experience creating custom fields. I mean, that was like 5-6 years ago. It's all about custom fields. You can customize everything that's part of the system, and you can do it to whatever level you want, in whatever industry you want, in whatever vertical you want, product categories, services, different drop downs, anything out there, custom fields, custom properties. All right, number 4. This is where the rubber meets the road. Sequences and workflows. This is HubSpot terminology. Sequences we talked about right here. The engagement. How are you going to do that? How are you going to engage with people? You need to send them sequences. If a marketing agency tells you, no, we use we're HubSpot. We use workflows. We do email marketing. No, run. That's not going to work. It hasn't worked in the past year as effective as it used to. Here's the reason why. Every marketing email, a year and a half ago, I used to say, it used to be marketing emails worked, but they have to look like you wrote them. So plain text, left justification, no banner at the top, no images, no logos, none of that stuff. Remove it all. That's what I used to say. Then everybody started updating their privacy settings. Google updated stuff for filtering out spam. Apple did too. All these things changed. And now all they have to do, the email systems, every marketing email at the bottom per US law has to have an unsubscribe or an opt-out button and the address of the company. Now, a trick around that I used to do years ago was, if you put in your marketing email enough blank space below the signature, you can bury that line that is required way at the bottom, to where when people get the email and they scroll, they don't see it, because they're not going to keep scrolling. They think that the email's over at the bottom of your signature or just past it. So that used to be a trick that I used to use, and it worked, right? Open rate was good, click rate was good, engagement rate was good. So, but what they've done now is that we've noticed over a year ago that the open rate started dipping and declining. I'm like, what's happened here? Oh, it's in conjunction with all these new filters and changes to the way that they're handling emails is happening. Let's test a different method and push more into sequences. Sequences do not have that unsubscribe at the bottom. They look like an email that you sent. Also, with workflows or email marketing, you cannot do a threaded response. So if I send you an email today that says, use my marketing agency, and then 7 days later or 17 days later, I send you another email, even if I put, like, this is another trick people do, they'll put RE : and use the same subject line as the first one. Even if I put that, it is not going to indent it in the same thread. It's going to be a separate email. So email 1's down here in your inbox, email 2 comes in at the top. Even if I try and play with the name, the system's not going to be like, this is on the same chain. So you do a different subject line, different email. 10 days, 20 days, a month goes past, a third email gets sent from a workflow, from email marketing automation. It gets pushed to the top with a different email. With sequences, all of it stays in one. So number one, you're tricking the systems to say, this isn't a marketing email. This is just me saying that you should use my company. And then I keep it short, direct, to the point, minimal text. I'm talking like 100 words, 200 words, maybe a bullet point or two, not a ton of links, not images, none of that stuff. Simple email, because I'm trying to get engagement. I'm trying to go after that engagement on it. I put contacts in, they're cold. A lot of them are cold, and even if they're somewhat warm, I'm trying to engage with them, so I'm keeping it direct to the point. Hey, if you guys need any help with your industrial marketing, let me know. We've been doing this for the last 8 years, 40 plus years of industrial experience in the space. So I mean, simple, direct to the point. Email 2 comes 7 days, 17, 20, whatever it is later. It's a thread of response. Hey, Joe, wanted to follow up on the email below. You're able to say that stuff. Again, direct to the point. I also thought you might get some value out of this video that we just published. I also thought you might get some value out of this article, this calculator, this white paper. Thought of you, Joe, and I wanted to send this white paper that has to do with your industry. How are you going to be able to do all that? Well, to know their industry, there's an industry section in HubSpot, but you can also create your own custom property that says industry ABC, sub-industries. Like some of that's already in HubSpot, but you can customize the fields and say, no, I don't like any of that. I want to do a different field, and it's called like ABC companies industry. But all of that can be pulled into where I'm like, I know these people in this industry are going to like this white paper, this case study, this new thing that we did. I'm going to send it just to those people in the industry. It's relevant to them. That's going to increase engagement. But that's the key, is sequences, which you have to have Sales Hub Pro, $100 per seat per month, or Sales Hub Enterprise if you want to do automation behind it to where you can automatically enroll it. With sequences, I go into HubSpot and I look at 50 people and I want to enroll them in a sequence. Those are going to come from me. Regardless of contact owner, those emails are going to come from me. If I'm an admin, a manager, an agency, I want to do automation behind it and say, I've got 1,000 people. I want to sprinkle them across these 5, 10 salespeople. I need Sales Hub Enterprise in order to do that. That is the power behind it. For $150 a month per seat, that is so well worth it. On the flip side of it, workflows. So sequences is how you're going to send out emails, not email marketing. You can do email marketing for newsletters, things like that, but you want to do sequences for everything else. On the flip side of it, workflows. Workflows are basic automation systems that you create. So it's some trigger is going to happen to bring them into the workflow. They filled out a form. They hit the website. They took some sort of action. They got added to a list. Then from there, you're going to ask it to create action. It doesn't always have to be an email. Too often people are like, oh yeah, workflows, that's like email marketing. Yes and no. A workflow is just automating steps. That's all it is. So I could say somebody fills out a form, they get this email, but then from there, I can have it send a Slack message, create a contact for somebody, put them on a list. I can have it assign me a task to follow up with this person in 3 days. Then after that task is done, so at the bottom of it, I can say, once this task is done, then I want to send another email. Then I want a task to send a LinkedIn connection request. Then I want a task to call them. It's just basically you can have it automate anything. There's some workflows that we have here that we've created that are insane. They look like massive trees with different branches, if-then statements, breaking context down, auto-assigning, all sorts of insane stuff that it would take you 5 minutes just to scroll and map what's going on here. But from a simplistic standpoint, if we went straight up vertical with the workflow, there's a trigger, then something happens. It could be they signed up for a newsletter, they got added to a list, and then a task got created for Kyle to reach out to them and say, thank you for signing up for the newsletter. Or they sign up for a newsletter, and then they get an email with the newsletter copy. Like, you can make it very simple. The workflows is part of Marketing Hub Pro. That's how you unlock that. Workflows are great for automation, automating tasks, automating follow-ups, automating movement within HubSpot, auto-assigning people to industries, copying. Like, if a company gets brought in and the industry is plastics and there's contacts associated with that company, I want to copy the industry from the company over to all the contacts, because contacts and companies have different industry fields. That would be done in a workflow. So it's automating steps and taking time off of you. You need Marketing Hub Pro to do that. That's where workflows come into place. Can you do that in other CRM systems? Yes. Can you do sequences in other CRM systems? No. The top one that you can't do it in is Marketo. So Salesforce's email arm, Marketo, Pardot, whatever you want to call it, you cannot do sequences. You can do email marketing, but you can't do one-off emails through automation from a person's inbox with a threaded response. So that's the hindrance of Salesforce. We have a new client that signed on, I don't know, 3-4 months ago. They didn't even know, number one, that they couldn't do that because Marketo's not going to be like, oh yeah, let's talk about something that works better than email marketing, something that we don't offer. I'm sure they'll do it eventually. But they also didn't know that HubSpot could be effective pricing wise and actually better than what they're currently paying. So at the end of this year, they're going to turn over into a HubSpot user and ditch the antiquated, traditionally popular way of being like Salesforce and Marketo. No. Sequences and workflows, that's what you need to pay attention to. Number 5, we're going to talk about reporting. So if this is where the rubber meets the road and this is where you're taking action, reporting, this is where you get to justify. So with reporting, I'm taking all of this action. I've got these contacts in. We're measuring opportunities, etc. All of your pipeline, even in nurturing, all of that information is done in reporting. So HubSpot calls them dashboards. A dashboard is set up, so let's say it's MFG Tribe sales performance or marketing or web. Like you can create dashboards. It's basically just a group of reports, customization on all the reports. You create the dashboard, you can get view and edit rights, you can assign it to different people. It's updated in real time within like 2 minutes. With the reporting, I want to see everything. I don't want to just see website traffic, where do they come from, all that stuff. I want to see the deals. I want to see every single bit of detail. I want to know how many leads did we get this week? Let's say it was 10. How many of those turned from a marketing qualified lead, which is just somebody saying, oop, hey, me, I want to talk to you about this thing. That's like filling out an RFQ, marketing qualified lead. Marketing is saying MQL. It's by default in HubSpot. Marketing is saying is that this person is qualified. Then it goes to the salesperson to try and convert into an SQL or a sales qualified lead. I want to know how many, we had 10 leads last week or this week, 10 leads. From those leads, only 6 of them became sales qualified leads. That means that 4 people out of those 10, sales team talked to and said they're not a fit. Either we weren't a fit for them, they weren't a fit for us. It's not really something within our scope. The quantity was too small. We only look at big run production, et cetera, et cetera. 4 of them. So that means I have a 60% conversion rate from MQLs to SQLs or leads to opportunities. I want to know that information. Why do I want to know that information? Because I want to know, getting all these leads in, are we converting them? Then from there, I want to know, where did those leads come from? Oh, well, 2 were organic search, 2 were from a paid ad, 3 were from LinkedIn, et cetera, et cetera. That's broke down on a report within the same dashboard. What's cool about this is as you're looking at a bar chart, line chart, whatever, a table, you can click on a bar chart and it says, you hover, it says 3 people, 4 people. You click on it, window pops up. Then from there, you can see the 4 people that are in there. From there, you click on their name or click on the deal. You can see all the information and activity. It's all built into it. So it's not a static image. It's an active image to where you can click into it and be like, hey, who are those 4 people? Oh, let me answer that question. Click, these are the 4 people. So that's what's great about it, is that you're able to get into the system from reporting. I love that feature. I use it every single day in HubSpot. But I build out these dashboards and these reports based on what matters to that department, to that person, to that company. But at a minimum, it should be how many leads came in, how many of them were converted, how many of them turned into deals, where did they come from, who was the salesperson, then go into the salespeople. How many calls did you make, emails did you send, leads did you bring in, deals did you have, how many of those closed, what's your close won ratio, how many of them closed won, how many of them closed lost, how many deals do you still have in a nurture phase. That's just a report. Stage of deals in HubSpot. And you could do it assigned based on salesperson. Well, Joe has 20 deals in nurture. Okay, Joe, you need to work on that nurture pipeline. What's going on here? We've got way too many people that are just stagnant waiting. Or you got way too many people that are not moving through the process fast enough. What's the time frame from an RFQ to a quote sent to a potential outcome? And all those stages are customizable. You can customize each pipeline however you want, whatever you call it. And we've got numerous companies that call it numerous things. They got different levels, different stages, but simplistically speaking, a lead or an RFQ, quoting stage, quote sent, close won, close lost, that's it, and a nurture. And so you can see that. How many days was it? You see that in a report. So easy to do. It's so easy to do. But if you don't have all the data at your fingertips, you possibly can't make decisions, right? If I don't know if social media is working, I could say, hey, we're getting a lot of engagement on social. I want to know how many deals came from social, right? I want to know, I had 20 opportunities last month. How many of them came from LinkedIn? How many of them came from YouTube? How many of them came from organic search? Break it all down. Then I want to look at over a quarter, quarter over quarter, year over year. Are we increasing? So it's not just like looking at traffic and web analytics, stuff like that. That's fine. But really what matters, if you're using the system, if you're bringing sales into the system and having your deals through the different stages and having your deals done through their sales platform, through the deals platform, then all that information is at your fingertips. I know what you may be thinking. Kyle, my salespeople, like how much information do they have to fill out on the deal? It could just literally be the contact, company name, deal name, and dollar amount. You can keep it that simplistic. You don't have to go into depth. You can keep it high level. So that's reporting. Reporting, 100% customization. You can have multiple dashboards, multiple reports within it. It is insane. It is the best thing out there. You can share it with a public view. You can have other people see it that aren't HubSpot users. Just change the rights on it for a shareable link. Everybody can see it. They can't interact with it the same, but they can at least see it. So I hope you guys got value out of this content. If you did, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. If you're not following me on LinkedIn, head over to LinkedIn, hit that follow button. And if you want to listen to this in podcast form, every major podcast platform has Industrial Sales and Marketing with me. I'll see you on the next one.